for part 3 of this lab 3 tutorial. So I'm going to share my screen again, take us back over to ArcMap and ArcPro. Okay, so here we still have open our flow accumulation classified rasters, where streams are areas in the landscape with more than 500 pixels flowing into them. So what that really means is that it takes that much contributing area of overland flow and subsurface flow to create a river, roughly. And so what we're going to do first is we'll take this data, we're going to reclassify it to a raster which is river and non-river. And then we will take that and make a stream flow line file, and then we will determine the location of 2 USGS drainage stations, and we will snap them to the river and calculate the drainage area above those stations. Okay, so the first step to all of this is we'll take our flow accumulation raster, and we're going to go down to another tool within the spatial analyst toolbox called Reclass, and it's a tool called Reclassify. So that should pop up a dialog box in which you can input the flow accumulation raster, and we will classify by value. And we just want to do what we did, which is to have 2 classes and copy what we did before, where it's 500 and the other value. And no data is no data. Less than 500 is also no data. And then the 500 to 9 million, you can have whatever value you want. I'm just going to say 1. 1 equals a river. Okay. And then we'll output this as river1.tif, and I guess we'll also change missing values to no data. Okay, good. So that should give us new raster, which is very similar to our flow accumulation raster. The values overlie it. So we can turn that off. We see this light blue pixels. I can change that to whatever color I want. So on this other side, we can, I believe, do the same. Just type in reclassify. Reclassify. There's spatial analyst tools and 3D analyst tools. I'll be doing the same thing. So flow accumulation 2. Oh, this one's smarter. It input our classifications, and 0 to 500 is no data. Type it in just like they have it there. And well, I'll show you it can also be 2, and we'll just call this river2.tif. Okay, so that should process here in a minute. Okay, so once you have the rivers, yep, there they are, we can kind of basically convert them. And so we can go to conversion tools. We can go from raster to polyline. And so we can input our river 1 and output polyline features, which we'll save to our area, and we'll just call it river lines 1. Save. And that'll create a shapefile there. And I guess we're simplifying the polylines. That's probably fine. Okay, so go over here to tools, again, conversion tools from raster to polyline. Input raster of river 2, and the output polyline features called river lines 2, and feature class all types. And let's go ahead and run. That should do the same thing. Oh, it's which one is going to win? They're both taking some time. It's a big file area. While those are running, I'm going to pull up a couple other things here. So we'll pull up the 2 gauging stations that we need to basically assess in this lab. So one is a Diamond Fork River gauging station, and the other is a Spanish Fork River gauging station. So there's Spanish Fork and there's Diamond Fork. And they have latitude and longitude located right here. Okay, and have we created lines? Yes, the first one finished the lines. And so this is much more satisfying because we can turn off the underlying river, and we can see the river network lines much more clearly in most places throughout the digital elevation model. And you'll notice that there's some areas in here that have a little issues with lots of weird river patterns in flat areas. So that's a little annoying and can require some editing at some point. And we finished it over here as well. So once you have that, you can change it to whatever you want. You can choose this waterline color. Okay, so now we need to figure out where these gauging stations are located. And so how do we do that? So we have latitudes and longitudes of their locations here in minutes and degrees. And so that's not the easiest to deal with, but we can deal with it. So if we kind of enter this here, this is for the Diamond Fork 1, and comma, paste that there. Oh, that's not right because you need to have negative 111 degrees. Does that say that? It does not, but yeah, it is negative. So yeah, Diamond Fork USGS stream gauge. Wow, there it is. It's on the map. So we entered it as well. So can see roughly where that is. And one way to make this pretty simple is to kind of match that up with what we're doing. I guess I'll put it somehow here so we can see everything. So if I zoom out, where is this? So it's along Diamond Fork River off of Highway 89. So it's somewhere up here. This is going to be easier in the case of Arc Pro because underlying all this, we have some base data. And actually, we can add more if we want. So I think we can insert base map. And if we want to have some sort of, I guess, hybrid imagery, we could do that. So I will turn off my fill DEM and this other one, and then we can see our rivers over the topography here. And so I wonder if we zoom in here, we can roughly find the same area. And so this is near Monk's Hollow Trailhead, which looks to be around here. Yeah, there's Monk's Hollow Trailhead right there. And the gauging station is just over here. In fact, we can see kind of the where it's located. It's located near this inlet here through a tunnel. And there's also some structures. And so my guess is that the true location is not exactly precise here on the map, but it's right in this area. And so we can go ahead and create a point. And so we can go to Edit, and we can create. And what we want to create is something new. I'm going to create points, so I got to be careful here. Oh, so here, we need to add a file to create. Okay, so create. So first, let's go to the catalog. Oh, let's go tools, create point. No, we don't want to create random points. Okay, sorry. So if we go to editor, we want a new file to edit, essentially. So I want to create features. Make it easy, do they? Okay, so within river lines 2, we can't add anything there. Those are lines that we can edit. Yeah, we need to add a new file to edit. So let's insert I'm getting a little bit confused here. It's a lot easier in ArcMap to do this. So let me just see. I just don't have the workflow here. So if we go and we just want to create a point, we don't want to work on river lines. We want a new feature. Nope. Create map. Goodness. Annotation is not what we want. So if we go back to add data and we go to add data from the map. So if we go into our folder, let's see if I can basically solve this issue. So I want to go back to my folder, and I wonder if we can create something there. No, we need to then, we're going to go over here to solve the problem then. So I'm going to go to the art catalog, and I will go to my catalog location within students, and I'm going to go into here and I'm going to say make a new shapefile, and I just want it to be a point file, and I'm going to call it Gages for river gauges. I'm going to give it the coordinates that we've been using, which is NAD 83 2011 UTM zone 12, which is showing there because I'm using it, and I'm going to say okay. And then oh, that says geographic coordinate system, but I did not choose that. I'm not liking that, so I'm going to remove that. I don't like it. Let's go back in here. We'll delete that one. New shapefile, points again, call it river gauges, or just gauges is fine. It should be fine. Okay. And then let's edit the new, and we will import from one of our existing files. Make sure, yeah, okay, so it wasn't the same. We want the UTM. So that should be good. We don't get that error. Okay, so now that's available. So I'm just going to add that to this map too. But I'll do that first, maybe after editing over here. So what we would, no, I will do it over here. So I'm going to add the data to the map. So I'll go look for my gauges. It should now be in here. Let's see. Flow, let's refresh. Oh, it's a different type of shapefile. No. Let's go back out and go back in. Maybe it's hiding. Maybe it's not happy because it's open. Remove it for a second. Try to add it again. Still not showing up there. How annoying. Okay, maybe, oh, maybe because it's empty. We'll go add it again on this side. Sorry, this is taking some time. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna go into what's called editor and start editing. And when I do that, it should allow me to create this point. In editor, there, I'm gonna have to make some space here. I'm gonna try to find the location on the map. It's roughly where all these drainages meet. So it's right in here. And we could see it, yeah, Diamond Fork River, it's right just over here somewhere. So in the editor, there's this thing, create features. So if I click gauges, I create a point. And it can, do you see how it snaps to the river? And so these line networks should be pretty similar, but what I see is they're not exactly the same. You can see here there's double lines, and over here there's not. Something is slightly different. So can't just go directly off of it, but it is a pretty good approximation of where that gauge is, so I'm going to snap to that. Okay. And I'm going to save those edits. Okay, so that's one gauge. And I'm going to, once that's done, I'm going to stop editing. If I can open the attribute table, you'll see that there's a point. Its ID number is 0, which is default. I'm going to add a field. I'm going to say it's text and name. And then within here, if I go back to start editing, I can then write diamond. Whatever you want if you choose text. And there's save edits. It's snapped to that river. Then we'll want to kind of do this again. So I'll pull up the map here as well as our Spanish Fork gauging station, which is at these coordinates. So let's go there now. So I'll enter that here. And then I'll adjust this other one to be this, and I need to remember to add the negative or keep it there. Let's say search. So that's right here along the Spanish Fork River, which if I zoom out over here, should be able to find it down near the mouth of the canyon, but up near this bend. So where is that exactly? This Cold Springs area. And it is, I'm going to say it's probably nearby wherever this structure is. So let's pull this over here. Well, I guess we got it up over there. So there's a structure right there. So I'll minimize this. And then I'm going to go and close this so that I can navigate. So there's our first gauge dot. Now we'll navigate over to that bend in the river, which should be down here, and just south of this other drainage coming in. So we'll go and click on Gages again, create a new point, have it snap there. Boom, there it is. And save edits. And that takes a minute. And we'll stop. No, we won't stop editing. I'm going to go in and edit the attribute table and call that Spanish. Okay. Now I'll save edits again and stop editing. Okay, so I'm going to export this as Gages 2. I'm going to save it in our same place that working. And I'm going to use it over in the Arc Pro side because I was having some trouble creating a new point file. I'll probably just save this Gages file for y'all to use in your lab 3 actually, so maybe I'll do that. Gages DF, no, SF DF, so it has both. And I'll just save that right in there. It's probably going to add it to this map, but I'm going to say no, because I already got that there. So hopefully that means that we could add it to this map by just navigating to lab 3, and there's other gauges in here at the moment. Go to date modified. It's not yet showing up there. Okay, well, let's not pay attention to the Arc Pro side for a minute. So let me just show you how we proceed, because we'll figure it out in Arc Pro, but the process is the same as here in ArcMap. So I'm going to zoom to the layer of the gauges so we can see both of them. I might even make the gauges a larger size. Okay, so now you can see them. Okay, so now we need Arc Toolbox again. And now these are snapped to the rivers, which is good. So I'm going to go basically input pour point data, which is these gauges, and I'm going to snap it to the flow accumulation raster so that it thinks it's right on the flow accumulation raster. And I will outpoint that as a snap to pour point feature. So snap underscore pour point, call it dot. Okay, and we want it to snap right there. So go ahead and say okay. If I zoom to that layer, not sure exactly what that's showing us. Guess it has the same extent. So let's zoom back to gauges. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we've got the gauges there, we've got our river network. Let's go ahead and create a watershed above those gauges. So we can input the flow direction watershed, input the feature pour point data, and so can use that snap pour point. You may also be able to use the gauges. And then we're going to output a raster. So, and we'll call that watersheds dot. And this is going to hopefully create for us just two well, they're rasters, but they'll look like polygons of the area above those two basin points. So that'll take a minute to process. Let's see if I can open up things by. Okay, so now I'm going to need to make this smaller. So there's our Spanish Fork watershed. Okay, and then the values range from 0 to 0. So I think it only did the 1 pour point. So let me try that again. I turn that off. I'm going to try it again, that process, but using the gauges, because it should produce 2. And I already snapped to the river. I'm going to choose to the flow direction again. This time I'll choose gauges, and the input shouldn't matter because they have different fields. And I'm going to try watershed, try number 2.tiff, and see if that works. It did not work, which means it didn't snap to things. Okay, so what's probably going to be best then for your process, and we're going to stop here, and I'll help more as we move along in the lab. But if we turn on our watershed here, basically we're going to then use this to convert this raster into a polygon, and we'll use that polygon to clip the overall DEM that's in the background there to just this area, which will make a slick diagram. And so I'll put that into a fourth video later on. I know this video is a little long, but we'll stop here.